Welcome back, folks, to another episode of Broadcasting Seeds, where we dive into the strange, the unexplained, and the downright bizarre. I'm your host, Bennett Tanton, here to plant some seeds of curiosity in your mind. Today, we're peeling back the layers on a topic that's been haunting humanity for centuries: demonic possessions and exorcisms. Are these dark tales of malevolent spirits and sacred rites just figments of overactive imaginations? Or is there something genuinely supernatural lurking in the shadows? If demons are real, how would that reshape our beliefs, our understanding of mental health, and even our views on good and evil? And let's not forget the juicy conspiracy theories that suggest powerful institutions might be in on the secret, pulling the strings behind the scenes. So, grab your holy water and maybe a snack as we journey into the heart of this eerie enigma. But don't worry, we'll keep things lighthearted. Well, as lighthearted as demonic possessions can be. Ready? Let's dive in. All right, let's start our journey with a little history. Demonic possessions and exorcisms are not just the stuff of Hollywood horror films. They have roots that dig deep into the past. From the ancient Egyptians and Babylonians to the Greeks and Romans, nearly every ancient civilization had its own version of demonic entities and rituals to banish them. One of the most famous historical accounts comes from the Bible itself, where Jesus casts out demons, often referred to as unclean spirits. Fast forward a few centuries, and we find the Catholic Church taking a leading role in exorcism practices. The 1614 Roman ritual became the official guide for casting out demons, filled with prayers, holy water, and plenty of Latin, because let's face it, everything sounds more serious in Latin. But it's not all ancient history. Modern cases continue to pop up around the globe, keeping the debate alive. Take, for instance, the case of Anneliese Michel in the 1970s, a young German woman whose tragic story inspired the film The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Despite medical diagnoses of epilepsy and mental illness, her family and two priests believed she was possessed, leading to a grueling series of exorcisms that ended in her untimely death. And it's not just Europe. Here in the good old USA, we have the infamous story of Roland Doe in the 1940s, a boy whose alleged possession and subsequent exorcism were so terrifying that they inspired the novel and movie The Exorcist. Whether you believe in demons or not, these stories leave a chilling impression and raise questions about the nature of evil and the human mind. So, historical or modern, these cases have kept the fire of this controversy burning bright. But what exactly is happening in these situations? Are these people truly possessed by malevolent spirits? Or is there something else at play? We'll get into that next. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty of the debate. Are these so-called possessions supernatural, or are they purely psychological? It's a classic showdown between science and the spiritual. On one side, we have the psychologists and psychiatrists who argue that what we're seeing are extreme cases of mental illness. Conditions like schizophrenia, dissociative identity disorder, and epilepsy can manifest in ways that might seem like possession to the untrained eye. Hallucinations, violent outbursts, and strange behaviors could all be explained by these medical conditions. In fact, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, yes, the infamous DSM, lists criteria that could easily match the symptoms of a supposed possession. But let's not dismiss the spiritual side too quickly. Many religious leaders and believers argue that these cases go beyond what science can explain. They point to instances where medical treatments failed, but exorcisms brought relief, at least according to the reports. Theologians might argue that possession is a test of faith, a battle between good and evil played out on the stage of the human soul. So, who's right? Well, the truth might lie somewhere in the middle. Some modern exorcists actually collaborate with medical professionals. They rule out mental illness before proceeding with an exorcism, ensuring that the person gets the right kind of help. It's a fascinating blend of ancient rituals and modern science. But let's spice things up with a twist. What if the supernatural and psychological aren't mutually exclusive? What if some mental illnesses are in fact influenced by spiritual entities? It's a controversial thought, but it's one that some experts are beginning to entertain. This tug of war between science and spirituality raises profound questions. Are we simply misinterpreting complex mental health issues, or is there an unseen battle raging within us? As we ponder that, let's move on to how this controversy shakes the very foundations of our beliefs. Now, let's talk about how this whole possession and exorcism debate impacts religious beliefs and practices. If demonic possessions are real, it's not just a matter of spooky stories, it's a game changer for faith communities around the world. For many religions, the existence of demons is a given. In Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, and beyond, there are countless references to malevolent spirits and the rituals to combat them. For believers, the acknowledgement of demonic entities affirms their world view, reinforcing the presence of a cosmic struggle between good and evil. It gives their rituals and prayers a deeper significance, a tangible enemy to fight against. Take the Catholic Church, for example. The ritual of exorcism is a serious matter, and priests undergo extensive training to perform it. The Church's stance is that exorcisms are not performed on a whim. They are a last resort when all other explanations have been exhausted. This careful approach shows how deeply the Church values its traditions while acknowledging the complexities of mental health. But let's flip the coin. What if demonic possessions were proven to be psychological conditions? That would be a seismic shift. It would challenge the foundational beliefs of many religions, forcing a reinterpretation of ancient texts and traditions. For some, it might even lead to a crisis of faith. And then there are the fringe groups and new religious movements that take these beliefs to the extreme. For them, possession and exorcism are not just doctrines, they're central to their identity. If the mainstream narrative shifts, these groups might dig in their heels even deeper, reinforcing their beliefs against a skeptical world. It's a complex interplay between faith, tradition, and the ever-evolving landscape of human understanding. Whether confirming or debunking the existence of demonic entities, the impact on religious practices would be profound, reshaping how millions of people connect with the divine and interpret the mysteries of life. As we ponder these profound implications, let's steer our conversation toward another critical area: mental health. How would the confirmation of demonic entities revolutionize the way we approach psychological treatment? Let's turn our focus to mental health. If demonic possessions were proven to be real, the ripple effects on mental health practices would be monumental. Picture this. You walk into a therapist's office, and alongside the diplomas and cozy couches, there's a shelf of holy water and crucifixes. Sounds wild, right? But if we acknowledge the existence of demonic entities, such a scenario might not be too far-fetched. Currently, the mental health field relies on scientific and medical approaches to diagnose and treat conditions like schizophrenia, dissociative identity disorder, and severe depression. These treatments include medication, therapy, and sometimes hospitalization. But if possession is recognized as a genuine phenomenon, these approaches might need a dramatic overhaul. Imagine psychiatrists and exorcists working side by side. Before diagnosing a mental illness, a patient might undergo a spiritual assessment to rule out possession. This collaborative approach could lead to new, hybrid treatments that blend psychological and spiritual care. It would require mental health professionals to be trained in recognizing the signs of possession versus mental illness. No small feat, considering the complexities of both fields. Ethically, this raises all kinds of questions. How do you ensure that a patient's spiritual beliefs are respected without compromising scientific integrity? How do you protect patients from potential harm if an exorcism is deemed necessary? And what about the stigma? Mental illness already carries enough of that. Adding the possibility of possession could either increase it or, oddly enough, reduce it by framing the condition in a different light. For some, the integration of spiritual and psychological care could offer a more holistic approach to healing. For others, it might feel like a step back into superstition. Either way, the mental health community would need to navigate these changes carefully, balancing respect for religious beliefs with the rigor of scientific inquiry. And as we wrap our minds around this potential revolution in mental health, let's venture into the murky waters of conspiracy theories. What if powerful institutions are already aware of these demonic entities and are using them to their advantage? Now let's get into the darker, conspiracy-laden corners of this topic. What if demonic possessions and exorcisms are more than just spiritual or psychological phenomena? What if certain powerful institutions, governments, secret societies, or even religious organizations are aware of these entities and are manipulating them for their own nefarious purposes? Sounds like the plot of a blockbuster movie, right? But stay with me. Conspiracy theorists argue that these entities might be used as tools of control and influence. Imagine a shadowy organization using demons to instill fear, manipulate behavior, or even eliminate enemies. It's a chilling thought, but one that feeds into the paranoia and suspicion many people have towards those in power. Some theories suggest that governments have special divisions dedicated to studying and controlling these entities. Think of it as a paranormal CIA, keeping tabs on demonic activity and deploying exorcists like covert operatives. These secret agents of the spiritual realm could be influencing political events, swaying public opinion, or maintaining control over certain regions. Then there are the religious institutions. While many openly perform exorcisms, the conspiracy angle suggests that some might be using their knowledge for less than holy purposes. Perhaps they're keeping the public in the dark about the true nature of these entities, or worse, collaborating with them to maintain their own power. And let's not forget secret societies. The Illuminati, Freemasons, or other clandestine groups often blamed for global conspiracies. According to some theories, these groups might be harnessing demonic powers to achieve their aims, from wealth and influence to global domination. Of course, these are just theories, and like all good conspiracies, they're hard to prove. But they do tap into a very human fear of the unknown and the unseen forces that might be pulling the strings behind the scenes. Whether you find them compelling or far-fetched, they add another layer of intrigue to our understanding of demonic possessions and exorcisms. As we ponder these conspiracies and their implications, let's move on to our outro. I hope you've enjoyed this trip into one of the most controversial and fascinating topics out there. Well, folks, that wraps up another episode of Broadcasting Seeds. We've journeyed through history, debated the psychological versus the supernatural, explored the impact on religious beliefs, envisioned a revolution in mental health practices, and even dipped our toes into the murky waters of conspiracy theories. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, one thing's for sure: demonic possessions and exorcisms will continue to fascinate and terrify us. Remember, the goal of Broadcasting Seeds is to plant ideas and questions in your mind, to make you think deeper about the world around us, and to consider the strange and unexplained. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and leave a review. Your support helps us continue to explore these fascinating topics and bring them to you. If you have any thoughts, questions, or theories of your own, I'd love to hear from you. Reach out on our social media platforms or leave a comment. Who knows, your idea might just be the seed for our next episode. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep an open mind. This is Bennett Tanton, signing off. Stay curious, my friends.
Yeah. I got bad thoughts that make my mind scared. Hold me hostage and they don't fight fair. Who gon' pray for me and wipe on my tears? Who gon' save me if you not right here? Move this darkness and make my sight clear. Take me your way cause I don't like here. Ghosts of my past, they feeling the night air. Wake me up, I'm trapped in my nightmares. Wake me up, I'm trapped in my nightmares. Drowning, I'm off the deep end. Apparitions of all my demons. All my thoughts are committing treason. All alone, who gon' hear me screaming? Manifestations of my fears. Regrets that stretched out for light years. Can almost touch the light, homie, it's right there. Body free but trapped in my nightmares. Wake me up, don't let me drown. All the lights are fading.